Hello, we're going to go through the professional development for how to administer the Naglieri General Abilities Test. And so I'm going to share my screen. There's a slide deck that you can follow along. The process is pretty straightforward, but always there's some nuances. So we're going to take a quick look at this. All right. So this is new for 2024, and we're going to look at what is the Naglieri. We're going to have an overview. We're going to talk about the pre-administration, some things, some details like test time, what accommodations there are. We'll get into the day of administration, and then we'll talk about post-administration follow-up. We're going to take a look at how to use those components, parts of the MGI platform that you will need. Take a look at some resources and then discuss what to do if there are any issues. So with that, again, I want to make sure you understand who are the team that's supporting you besides the advanced learning team, leadership team. It's myself, Tim Peterson, Sarah Wallner, and Jamie Anderson from the assessment team. We're in the Research, Assessment, and Improvement Department, RAI. So let's get into administering the Naglieri. All the information that you need, and we've gone through this last year, is going to be found on this Naglieri resource page. That is an MMSD page. So if there are any issues or concerns, please let me know, and I will make sure that it's updated. We have sent a test administration manual, a TAM, to you. There is on the resource page, there is a PDF version. So if you do need a second one, we decided not to print actually two of them, only printing one. If you need a second one, it is available for download and use that way. And within the TAM, you will find things that you need specifically. The script for English is on page 12, and the script for Spanish is on page 37. Again, the scripts make sure that when you actually administer the assessment, you're doing it in a standardized way and standardized assessment. And it doesn't matter whether you're giving the assessment in the directions in Spanish or in English. Either one is fine. If you need an additional language, please connect with the leadership team in AL as well as myself, and we'll see if we can get things translated. It is a daunting task in some languages, and it's just not possible in others. So please give us as much heads up as possible. The assessment itself is not, we're doing the nonverbal assessment, so it really doesn't matter once the students are into the assessment. That being said, here's some things that you can do for the prior to the administration, some things you should know. Number one, please make sure you review the test administration manual. Everything you need to know is in there. There are included in that some troubleshooting steps, and some of the ones that I would like to point out. If a student is missing, please let us know, but I'll show you how to take care of that. Here's some accommodations. There's really nothing that we can do behind the scenes to set up the accommodations for the Naglieri. However, if a student has accommodations, and for all other assessments, here are the things that you can do to actually help support students in their ability to take the assessment. Remember, there is a clock that runs. So there is a 30-minute clock, and then students are done, regardless of whether they're finished or not. However, if a student needs extra time, they have an accommodation built into their IEP that says on assessments they get extra time. You can use the Alt and T at the same time, that key combination, to stop the clock, to turn it off. Okay. If the accommodation is that they need breaks at different times, they shouldn't be doing this all in one complete sitting, meaning we're not going to come back like the following day. We're talking about they just need to stand up and stretch, shake their bodies out, go use the restroom, etc. Alt plus the U key will pause the assessment, that running clock. And if we do that again, it will be it will turn the clock back on. Another piece for the accommodations, again, these are accommodations and not for just every student, is screen magnification. The Alt plus enlarges the screen. Depending on how much size difference the student needs, you may need a bigger screen than their Chromebook. And so that would be something that would check in. I would check in with either the CC teacher or the classroom teacher ahead of time so that you're aware of that. All right. So something for you to be aware of and think about as we get moving. My team will create the initial test plan. What that means is we'll set up every second grade classroom in the district, all as one large group, and we will get the tickets to you ahead of time. These tickets, as it says, will be in a PDF format, and you will be able to use those as you need. However, you will need to set up a test plan if the following things are true. Number one, there's a new student. Because the new student will have missed the file upload. We're going to be creating this on October 18th, so about 10 days prior to the opening of the assessment window. So if a student arrives, let's say on the 22nd of October, they will not be included in the test plan. Test plans, once they're made, cannot, I repeat, cannot be modified. That doesn't mean we can't create another test plan to allow that student to be given a new test plan. We'll talk about how to do that in just a few minutes. So you'll be able to make a test plan for makeup purposes. If the student is actually enrolled and is in that initial test plan, but they aren't there, you can't go back into that test plan and open it up again. So once that test plan is done, you're done, and then you need to move on and create a different one. We're also going to talk about how to filter, how to create a completion rate report so that you're able to see who has completed everything and who has not. It may be as simple as a student didn't press submit, typically not, because when the clock runs out, if they're there and they actually do the assessment, when the clock runs out, regardless of whether they've completed all the questions or not, their window of opportunity closes. Whatever is there will be scored, and that will be in a score report later on. The completion would be something that you'd want to look at and say, oh, that's right, Tim was absent that day, or why isn't Tim there? And then go back and check on things. So looking at the entire class, figuring out who is actually completed and who is not. So let's dig into some of the pre-administration. So you will need to have the test plan set up, which we will do the first time. And then from that, you will also need to have the student tickets and access codes. Now, access codes typically are a combination of letters and numbers. In the past, one of the issues that we had was the letter O and the numeral 0 look amazingly alike, as do the numeral 1 and the capital letter I. We've worked with the vendor. They have recognized this. And so if there is a 0 that is used, it will be a 0 with a slash through it. They're trying to also avoid the letter I, capital letter I, and the numeral 1. So it will be 1. There'll be fewer mistakes that will be made based on not recognizing the difference between the capital letters in the font that they have chosen. So every student will have a ticket. There will be a class link icon, which actually is only a bookmark. So you'll see on this page, to the right in the blue highlighted, it has the test URL. So that location is where the students will be able to log in. However, we're talking about second graders. We don't want them to type things in any more than necessary. And so there will be a class link icon that's actually a bookmark, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But you can see where the test access code is. That is essentially their password. So they will only need to put in the information regarding the test access code, and everything else will be aligned. So when you are in MHS, the user interface, you will have, there's a troubleshooting, and I'll show you this in just a minute. There's a troubleshooting guide that will allow you to go through the potential problems and their resolutions. Worst case, well, no, second to worst case, connect with the assessment team. Jamie Anderson and myself, Sarah is moving away from being involved in this, although she will know most things. But connect with Jamie or myself first. The last resort, so to speak, is calling MHS customer service, and they are usually very good about supporting. This is one of the vendors that's good about supporting and addressing questions. All right, you're going to have access to the platform. But one of the things that's true about this particular platform is that we're not able to say Tim gets access to Anana school, period. Especially when we have two schools. We can do this for one school, but for two schools, that's not a problem, or that's not a possibility, excuse me. So when you are working on things, please make sure that you are using the drop down to identify which school it is that you are actually working with, because otherwise you will have district-wide access to that. All right, I'm going to go into, like I said, I'm going to go into the platform in just a few moments. I want to make sure that we kind of just review what the process is, and then we'll go ahead and go live. So the test plan itself, again, is something that you'll have to know how to create as far as the makeup process, or if there's a new student. So on the menu side on the left, here you can see an arrow pointing to it. There looks like two sheets of paper. So that is the test plan icon. Please click on that, and then you will get a screen something similar to this. You will need to filter to the particular school that you're working with in the drop-down menu. Once you've done that, you're going to do the following things. There's a lot of arrows, there's a lot of text on this page, but here's what it is. Number one, you will need to have a unique name for the session. So you may want to call it the name of the school, put in 24 for the year, and then maybe the classroom number or something that you know indicates that it's this teacher and this group of students. So it may be, if it's a makeup one, you might want to say Crestwood 24, Peterson 2 for the second group, or however you want to do this, but it needs to be unique across the district. The next thing you'll do is select the test type. And so that is going to be in the drop down in the middle here. The name of the assessment that you have to type, the test plan name goes here. So that's number one. Number two, select which assessment you're doing. So we're going to be doing the nonverbal, but later on, you will be able to select any of the tests that are optional and are a part of it, the verbal and the quantitative. You'll next need to go and select the school and the grade, select by class. You need to turn that on. Here, there will be a drop down of all the teachers associated with the school. So select that, and then you'll need to select the student names. You can click the box in front of each student name. Once you've done, generate the test plan. So it's a process that's iterative. It keeps going. You just do the same thing if you have to do this multiple times. What that will do is it will create for you a drop down, and you can see here, this is a sample from last year, MGI school, grade 4, Bauer. It tells you the expiration date, as well as this little icon to click on a PDF. Now, let me go back. We're going to go through and work on getting an expiration date set in here, because that is also an important thing. So for instance, if you say the window goes, and this is what we're going to do with the first test plan that you get, the window goes through Friday, the 17th of November, or I'm just making that up, something like that. We're going to set it probably for the next day, so that when Friday comes around and it clicks from midnight to 12:01 Friday, we want to make sure that it doesn't turn off at that point, because we've said Friday it's going to end the window. So we're going to set it for the following day, so that you can use all of Friday. So we'll just add one day to the window. You're going to get that PDF, and that's where you will use, again, the same image as we had before. You will need to have this information available. The class link icon will be the same as last year. It looks similar to this, and this is where it will take students. Remember, the class link icon is a bookmark, and so it will take the students to the MHS site. They will need to enter their access code. So I'm going to back up one. Notice the access code. In this case, WHY73CPO. Remember, the zeros will have the slash through it this year. They need to put that into, so they will have to have a copy of their ticket in front of them, or you will be there, need to have a copy for yourself so you can help them. Once logged in and ready to roll, the whole process takes about 45 minutes. So the directions, which includes that logging in, are you have the script. You can take the students through that, but they have, once they hit submit and go to the test, they will have 30 minutes to complete everything. All right. Now we're going to go to checking the completion rate. So this is kind of post-assessment. You can use the completion rate, completion icon on the left, and this looks like it's a circle. And it's got something else inscribed in the circle. And if you did this last year, you'll remember that you can go to the filter, and you'll need to set up your school and the grade. You'll go through everything like that, and then you will hit the apply button. This year, however, you'll notice in the bottom right of this particular image that we've got numbers already present. So as of today, these numbers are the actual numbers that remain from last year. So this is an all-time number of assessments. And if you click the apply button without doing anything else, it will look back and it will tell you the completion rate, including those that are already done from last year. So here's how you remedy that. In that filter, you'll notice that there is it's called completed date range. So it's set for automatically from January 1 of 2024 through the current date. Now, obviously, we don't want last spring. We don't want last winter. So I would say change the completed date range from September 1 or October 1 of 2024 through the current date, or whenever you pull that, and then click on apply. Obviously, you have to do the school, grade, and test type first. Make sure you set the date range appropriately. I would just use October 1 because it's easier, and then click on the apply button. So that will get you the completion rate numbers for that particular school and that grade and that test type. At the end of the assessment, students will, if they are done within the time frame, they will click on the submit button. It looks like a hand and a stop sign, and it will then come up with a thank you screen once they have done this. And then you can have them make sure that they bring something to read, or if you provide them with some other thing to do other than the assessment, it would be really important because they may have peers who are still working on the assessment, and I would prefer not having them interrupted. Just makes it much better, much easier to say, yes, I gave it my best shot at it. The conditions were such that allowed me to do that. Okay, again, questions, you can email the AL staff, but if you've got technical questions, include all three of us in it. And I think what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to the actual software, and I am going to share this with you. So this is the live view of the MHS Group Insights, the MGI, as they refer to it. Announcements are here. Here is the manual. Again, here's another place that you can click on this and view the manual or download it. I want to show you where the help is to begin with. So if you want to look, if you've got a question, go in the upper right-hand corner where there is the logout as well. And if you click the light bulb, you're going to see this screen. And so here is the screen that has got a bunch of really good things. Test day support is a really good one to click on, and you'll see things like a checklist. So here are some things that you can do to prepare for this. I'm going to go back, and you'll notice that I'm back here. I'm going to click on the FAQs. It is a document, not something on the screen. Now I'm going to flip back just again. So I want you to be, we're back here. So again, all of these things are really important. If you have some help, some questions, here is where you will find the troubleshooting. And if you scroll down, here's the phone numbers, how to sign in. And then as we go, clearing your cache, frequently asked questions. So there's a lot of information here that you can familiarize yourself with in order to actually make this a really smooth operation. I'm going to go back to the initial login page. And we'll walk through how to create a test plan. Over on the left, I have more icons than what you will probably have, but you'll have one that looks like 2 sheets of paper. Hovering over it, I have to say manage test plans. It'll pop up. So that is, again, here is the managing creation of test plans. You can search by a test plan. So that's why if you have a protocol in mind, you want to find that, you can. I'm going to drop down. We're going to take a look at our friends at Midvale. And I'm going to create this test plan. Sorry, it's thinking. There we go. Okay, so again, I'm going to create this test plan. I'm going to call this Midvale 101, just for fun. Test plan expiration date. Here's where I need to think ahead and say, when do I want it to expire? And so it pops up the calendar, and I can say, well, the 15th is the end of the window, so I'm going to put it on the 16th. clicking OK. Now, please keep in mind that once generated, you cannot edit a test plan. It'll just be there. You're not going to need to worry about it, but there's nothing you can do with it. So I'm going to select which one, and it'll say, do you want a second test? And if I do, then I can select that. If I want a third test, I can also do that. I'm going to, it says this is going to be universal screening and testing. So the purpose of the assessment. I'm going to go over to the school, and remember, I set this up as Midvale. So we're going to go and find Midvale. It will say grade 2. I'm going to select by the class, and here are the classes. You can see the staff members, so it will pull those students who are assigned to that class here. I'll click on the box, generate the test plan. I'm going to cancel all of this right now because I don't need to make a Midvale 101 test plan. That then will allow you, the next screen after that will allow you to print the access codes for the students. Okay, when you're done, you can go and log out. Upper right-hand corner in the purple or the maroon bar, and we're going to stop sharing. So if you have questions, please connect with me or my staff or the AL team. We want to make sure that you feel confident in your ability to administer the Naglieri General Abilities Test this year, and we look forward to working with you. Have a good afternoon.